I'm Annette McCoy. It's always delightful to be with you, and especially at this time of the month when I welcome Marney Perna along.
Thank you, Annette. Lovely to be here.
Aren't we so fortunate to be able to reach out around the world? So wherever you are, thank you for joining us, whether it be live at the moment or whether you take the time later on. If you would like to join us and share in our conversation this morning, why not go over to Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, because there you're able to see, make comments and tell us where you're from. We love to know where our audience is listening from. And today it's a topic that warms my heart. Marnie and I were just sharing, we love Christmas. However, it does come with its challenges because it's such a delightfully busy time of the year. So hopefully we'll be able to have a bit of laughter this morning, Marnie, and offer some tips as to how to cope and enjoy this wonderful festive time of the year.
And don't let the grouches pull you down. That's the big thing. There's a lot of people who don't love Christmas. And usually it's like anything, opposites attract. So you'll have within your circle of influence people who do not love Christmas, but you have to allow them to not love it, but don't lose your own energy for loving it. If that makes it all sense to you.
Well, it does, absolutely. And that goes for any time of the year, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, to be aware of how other people might be feeling and being compassionate, however, not lowering our own self and feelings to be with others. We want to lift other people up rather than allowing others to drag us down.
Yeah. So we have to allow other people to have their own opinions because they can't understand why you love Christmas when they don't. So, you're not trying to change them. What you're doing is owning your own energy. So own your energy field. Put yourself in a bubble. I know there was a time a few years ago when a couple of family friends had some rather distressing news, like they lost a loved one close to Christmas, and they just got engaged and things like that. So it was a really traumatic time. And I heard the expression that they were going to wrap that family member in bubble wrap, so that they were being sheltered by the shocks and the jars of life. And I think it's such a beautiful way of explaining what we need to do to people. So wrap yourself in bubble wrap for Christmas, the love it Christmas people, so that even though you're jostled and dropped and things like that, you're not breaking. So you need your energy levels to stay as high as it can. Now, energy levels are your enthusiasm. It's your get up and go. It's your joy and happiness. Happiness, joy being one of your favorite words in the whole universe, and used so frequently around Christmas time as well. It's an extra blessing for us that love it, because joy is everywhere.
Indeed, I love that idea of bubble wrap.
Yeah, I know, it's great. And sometimes I put colour into it.
Right.
I might wrap them in rainbow bubble wrap. That's really really super energetic.
Wow.
But you can just see it in your mind, can't you? You're seeing someone being wrapped up really carefully and lots of it, so that they're being sheltered from shocks.
Yes. Yeah. Great. I can see you're dressed festively.
I am. I've got a Christmassy shirt on. Look, I've got all sorts of things on it. There's even a galah for some reason. Oh, and a koala. So it's a Christmas, Australian Christmas shirt. So.
Fantastic. And the earrings, aren't they? There are so
they're
many
amazing.
Delightful earrings and brooches. Tops.
Hats, you can go Santa hats if you want. I've got a girlfriend that makes the most amazing bespoke jewelry, and she does them with feathers, but she puts a bit of Christmas theme in those as well, and she does just beautiful work. So
I brought an elf hat back from overseas.
Yeah.
And of course over there it was easy to wear it, and I wore it to one thing here and realised because it's felt, it's really warm, and of course it's not
too
as
hot.
conducive to down here. although today it is. I could
Do
easily
you
have it on.
do you know much about the elf in the house or the elf on the shelf? It wasn't part of my Christmas journey as a child or a young mum, or even into my, I don't remember it even in my 50s. And all of a sudden it's become a cult thing, the elf on the shelf.
Yeah, I think it's relatively new because my grandchildren introduced
I know,
me.
they all love it. Crazy. But I mean, keeps them excited. And that's the thing. It's what floats your boat.
Yes.
All right. So if as a new grandma, I go, this is bizarre, but no more bizarre than my Easter bunny was. It's the same concept. My children used to keep their eyes on the Easter bunny. You know, they'd be doing this whole, I'm watching you. And then they get sidetracked. So then you'd move the Easter bunny. So Elf on the Shelf's a bit the same. So it's keeping
I never did that. Thank you for that idea about the Easter bunny. I like that one.
I have little china, this tiny little china Easter. Well, it's a rabbit, but it was our family Easter bunny. And he used to sit, because my husband was a shift worker back when our kids were little. So the Easter bunny came when Dad came home from work. It didn't matter if it was night or day or whatever it was. And they'd go to church and everyone'd say, oh, did you get your Easter eggs? And my kids would say, no, I didn't get any because Dad hadn't got home from work yet. But it was when the Easter bunny left the front door, it was the Easter hunt.
Oh.
And you'd hear them making arrangements. Now, you look after it this time and I'll look after it that time. And that's happening now with the elves on the shelf. So I hear one of the little girls saying, have you seen it yet? Has it moved? I wonder how it got there. Does it fly? You know, so they've got all these childish wonder. And that's what you don't want to break. So allow yourself to come back to Christmas's childish wonder and enjoy the blessings of the time. You know, enjoying saying hello to a neighbour and lovely Christmas lights. Even if you don't want to participate, you kind of give thanks for those that do, because it gives a lot of joy and happiness to so many others. And you don't know in their life how desperately they need some positivity. You know, so I think it'd be really nice. One of my biggest Christmas blessings would be all the naysayers that jump on any conversation or photo on Facebook, decide not to say anything. Go back to Grandma's old idiom. If you can't say something nice, say nothing at all. Yes. And bypass having a comment. I think that would be such a lovely couple of days.
Yes, you know, and it changes the energy as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You get to a stage you think, oh, no, I'm not going to post. I won't bother posting. I'll just ignore that. But, you know, it can really bring someone down, because someone has generally put out a call, not for physical or monetary help, but they've put out a message or a statement. They don't need to be barreled about it. They just need someone who knows something to say something. And if you don't know anything or can't say something nice, don't say anything. Wish them happiness.
And how can we bring joy to others? And of course, that lifts our own spirits as well.
Yeah.
I was delighted this morning because a girlfriend reached out. She's moved house, and a person who's moved into her house has the mail, and she called in to get it yesterday, and it wasn't found. So she's reached out to me, because we're getting together tomorrow, to say, could I pick it up for her? And it was so wonderful to be asked and to be able to say, yes, I can do that for you.
Yeah. What you have to remember and have to be very careful of, because when you're a giver, you give until you're down. All right. So make sure that your cup of joy and your cup of energy is as high as it can be to allow you to share that with others, because we always have a finite amount of energy for ourselves. And when that energy is depleted or running down, it leaves you at risk for ill health and disease, but also for melancholy, you know, negative kind of energy even. So you've got to keep your I call them, you know, your stress bucket. You need Deliza, who's your life energy, to be uplifted. All right. So you need to learn what you can do to fill your cup. And you know, there's change of weather brings about a lot of health challenges as well, doesn't it? You know, so 1 minute it's hot, next minute it's cold. And that you have to regulate your body systems to cope with that. But it also can lower your life energy. So you need to know, what can you do, or what is it that's in your highest good, that always helps to put a little bit extra into your Deliza. What's yours, Annette? What fills your personal energy field?
Oh.
And it's not about giving to others. This is about you, remember?
Giving to me?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? Being aware that I can take 5 or 10 minutes, whether it be to read a chapter in the book that I'm reading, or to do something other than being on the computer or the phone.
Yeah. So guilt-free me time.
Oh, yes. And that's an interesting one too, Marnie. It's taken me a long time to realise that it is okay. Because I think my gorgeous mum, she would say, oh, I've done nothing today. She rarely gave herself me time. Yeah. Because she was of the ilk that, oh, well, we had to think of others all the time and before yourself. And I think we're finally realising that no, unless we give to ourselves, as you and I have spoken many, many times on this show about, we have to give out to ourselves first, and then we can look after other people.
Yeah. So you've got to honour yourselves. And that's sometimes a big lesson to learn. And it doesn't mean you exclude everybody. What it means is that if you're depleted, you don't have that extra energy to give other people. So you really need to honour you, and the nano naps and reading a book for no other reason than the fact you're reading a book. All of those things build your. I used to love a bath. Now this house, the home we live in now, doesn't have a bath. So that's taken away one of my me times, because I'd love to soak in a bath with a candle and just wallow in the bath for no other reason than the fact I could. So now it's a matter of, where can I go and lay? I've got these most amazing pillows that my daughter gave me a couple of years ago, and they just like, you lay in them and you go, oh, this is bliss. So I lay in there, even if you close your eyes for 5 minutes, you know, and you can hear people in the house moving around, and that's okay, but it's about you. So where do you go for just some you pick-me-up? And it's not about making a job. And if you're starting to feel a bit under weather, like I was this week, learn to say no as well. No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling the best. I need to recover. You know, I've got a lot of things happening. So how can you learn that word of no, and say it in different ways? Not at this time. Or sorry, I'm not able to today, but could I help next week? Or something like that. So people feel very guilty sometimes about saying no. So don't make it a no, make it a maybe. You know, so not today, but maybe tomorrow. Would that help? You know, so you're giving people an alternative as well.
And also, I had a girlfriend who reached out yesterday and said that she wouldn't be able to catch up as we had thought maybe we could today, because her body is telling her, stop. Yeah. And it was fascinating, Marnie, to have the conversation last night, because she realised that she's been going on, 110 for a long, long time. And all of a sudden, the emotions are going wham, wham, wham. And she realises that it's time to take stock and to just see, to attend to recognise and to acknowledge the emotions. It doesn't mean that we have to fall in a heap. However, our body will put us in a heap if that's what it needs to do to alert us.
And we think we're invincible, but we're human. We forget that sometimes. We think, oh yeah, I'll be fine, I'll catch up later. Then all of a sudden something comes along and hits you in the face like a wet fish, and you go, oh, maybe I am human after all. I do have a finite level of energy, and I've just hit maximum capacity. So, Control Alt Delete. Let's get off and recharge. So be aware of your emotions. That's the other thing that can pull us right down. So what emotion are you feeling? So is there a word you can put to how you're feeling today? Because when you can identify something, you can actually do something about it. Because when it's an unknown, how do you know what's going on? So you do need sometimes to say, well, how am I feeling? What does that feeling feel like? Has it got a word? And don't discount the first word that shows up. All right, you think, oh, can't possibly be that. I'll think of another one. Just if a word shows up, just honor that instant thought that you had and go, okay, why did that particular word show up? Is it bringing up something from the past that I've dealt with, but is just showing tentacles again, or showing a little tiny bloom happening? You know, because sometimes we can have done a lot of work, and Christmas is a time of major emotions, and what you'll find is things will affect you more at Christmas than they might other times. Mm-hmm. So you'll read a story on the news, or you see something somewhere of a tragedy, and it's really quite heartbreaking, especially when it's at Christmas, if it's about family and things like that. So you need to counteract that feeling with some uplifting. And there's been a beautiful series that I've been watching from the States called Nate Eaton, and he's a radio announcer from I don't know the name of the radio, but his name's Nate Eaton, Nateeaton. And what they do is they have this most amazing benefactor each year, and they do the blessings of Christmas. So they're given lump sums, and like the extraordinary lump sums, like I'm talking $500,000 or $1 million. And people write in and say, so-and-so needs some help. And they've been the most, like one person needed cut wood for winter, because we're talking America, so it's cold over there. Mm-hmm. So they came with a trailer load, and they're going to get 4 trailer loads across the winter time so that they don't have to cut their own wood. So it's not always about monetary things, but it's about practical things that someone in the community has been doing their bit for community and their world, but need some help. So people write in, and then they do the Secret Santa. And it's the Secret Santa of December. And it's the most beautiful and uplifting Facebook messages to watch. And the pure humbleness. I think that's what's come across with me, is the humbleness of the benefactors, or of the beneficiaries, not the benefactor. You know, they really don't believe they're deserving. There's so many more people more deserving than them for whatever reason. And they've had some really, really amazing life challenges, and standing up in front of them, in face of them. And it's a beautiful story to watch.
Excellent. So what's that on? It's on
it's just on Facebook, and it's Nate Eaton. I don't even know how I found it. It just came across my Facebook page, and I watched it, and I went, oh, that's lovely. So then you watch the next video and the next one and the next one, and you go, oh, this is amazing. But it's just an uplifting story. And there's no catch. Like one lady, she said, okay, what's the catch? She was so suspicious, you know, she wasn't happy at all. And then she ended up ringing or texting, or he took a phone call, I think, in studio. And she said, I'm so sorry about my lack of emotion. I really thought this was a scam. She said, I rang my adult children. They said, Mum, that was amazing. So she rang to, you know, negate her suspicions. So, it's been just beautiful. I'll just see if I can find the actual page. It's Nate, Nateeaton reporter. And he does the Secret Santa 2022.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Uplifting. It's a joy and happiness thing, you know. Watch. I mean, you send me the most beautiful zoo magazines. So go on TV and watch some of the zoo shows where they're helping to make the species survive by breeding in captivity. You know, things like the white rhinos, and there's one yesterday they were making geckos, you know, blue geckos, and you think, oh, you would think there were lots of those, but apparently they're in survival mode as well.
All right. Well, we've just had 2 new elephants, baby elephants, which is just gorgeous.
Yeah. And apparently the Melbourne Zoo is one of those connected zoos that does a lot of that interspecies transfery kind of things as well.
Yes.
So to keep it going around the world.
I know some people think, oh, zoos, you know, animals are in captivity. However, as with everything, there is a high side, and there, fortunately, not many are in cages as such. They're in there as close to their own habitat as possible. Yeah,
I think what I enjoy watching those shows is the connection they have to their keepers. You know, and the love and happiness from even the most unusual animals that you wouldn't think anyone would really love. The keepers love them, and it's such a blessing to watch that interaction and that trust between the two.
exactly.
So you
I'd
can
like to
find things. Sorry.
No. I missed that. What were you
I
saying?
said you can find things that will uplift you. So search them out.
Yes. Yes. What floats our boat, as you said before. Julie Kiss has joined us. So thank you, Julie. I wonder how you feel about Christmas. Does it excite you? Does it daunt you? It's fascinating because there are so many aspects of Christmas. And I think we're also realizing that sometimes it's not possible to all be together on the day. So it's how do we deal with that? Because surely part of Christmas is bringing joy and being able to enjoy time together with family and friends, not to overwhelm ourselves with, oh my goodness, I've got 30 people coming. How am I going to deal with it?
Yeah. And I think for us, I say us, Annette, because we're of similar generations. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's for us to let go of old, possibly outdated family traditions and engage in new ones. And that's a challenge for our well, it's a challenge for me. I like same old. I don't know about you. I'm a creature of habit. So I've tried to instill family traditions into my family as well. And some of them have been brought across from my growing up. Mm-hmm. So we always celebrated Christmas as a family on Christmas Eve because Dad was German and they had St. Nicholas. And Christmas Day was meant to be just the intimate family, not the big gatherings. And then Boxing Day, you went off and visited all your friends and family and other people. Right. So all my life, we've celebrated Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And we've done that with our children, which has worked well for the families of the partners because it meant then Christmas Day was for their family. You know, so they kind of had time. Mm-hmm. And I've been introduced to the new age concept of Secret Santas for the adults. And I go, no, I love buying. And they all said, but we don't need stuff. I go, oh, really? So I haven't embraced it, but I have joined it. So it's this gradual change. Well, and it's been done with an app. I mean, how technology savvy is that? So one of the sons set up an app. So we all got, pardon me, to pick a name. And then we set a ceiling. And the ceiling is not outrageous. It's just a nice number because there's still a couple. So two have still got to buy for two others sort of thing.
Sure.
We have not limited to the children. The children get to get presents from all. But, so whoever thought I'd use an app to buy my Christmas or not to buy my present, but to find the person I'm buying Christmas for.
Well, it's interesting, Marnie. You've joined that. My children do a KK amongst themselves. However, I said, oh, no. I would still like to give.
Yeah.
Yes. I must admit, it's usually money amid other bits that I hope are useful, practical.
Well, yes. Well, I decided it was okay because I don't need Christmas to give them gifts. So if I see a need, I go and get them anyhow. So, you know, I thought, well, that's okay because I'm not limited to when I do things. It doesn't have to be for Christmas.
Well, and how lovely. I must admit, if I see something for someone, I really like the idea. I'm not very good at holding on to presents.
No,
I'd much rather simply give it at the time and, acknowledge your birthday in maybe a different way, not necessarily with a present, depending on the circumstances.
I've a couple of times now I've bought a little wallet or so my daughter's birthday is just after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So hers trying to keep Christmas and birthday separate has always been not a challenge, but your headspace is not there, right? Because you've just got through Christmas and all of a sudden you've got the birthday. So a couple of years ago, I bought a folio, a zippered thing, and it had lots of slots in it. So what I did is I bought 12 gift vouchers of some description so that she had one per month if she wanted. So across the 12 months, she could, and it was as simple as, well, one of them was a movie ticket and then there was an ice cream voucher and just different little gift cards or gift vouchers that went into this portfolio. And she had a wonderful time across the 12 months using it, and then had the
brilliant
portfolio
idea
as well. Yeah, and it was really fun coming up with 12 things, so it's another
Thank
idea.
you for that idea. Food for thought. Now, Julie Kiss is sharing wonderful news with us.
Oh, good.
She loves Christmas as a wonderful family time, and she's going to be doing dinner at her home this year, and she's very excited about that. And Julie has just found out she's going to be a first-time grandma.
Lovely.
In May. How exciting! And Marnie and I can both say that from experience. There's
Absolutely.
nothing like it.
I have 5 little huglings.
Oh, I don't know how you felt, Marnie. I still get very emotional thinking about seeing my son for holding his daughter.
Yes. Seeing your adult children being family members.
Yes.
It's just a blessing. There's no words to describe it, because it's just it's heartwarming, isn't it, to see it. And the men these days are much more. I'm not saying the men before weren't connected, because they were, but they were differently connected. Whereas the ones these days are very much in tune with family. They're part of the family, and they're building their own. I think it's watching them building their own customs and their own family niches. It's just wonderful.
Yes. So, Julie, you're in for a lovely, lovely time.
Absolutely.
And she's saying, wow, 5, so blessed. And I have 5 at the moment too. And I think, we are blessed.
Yeah. And I have 3 live with us. So our son and daughter-in-law and 3 little ones live with us. So we get to see the joy of them growing up as well.
Yes.
And the others aren't far away. So, yeah.
Well, and the thing is, Marnie, to be, I believe, grateful for whatever we have. I am blessed. I have my children in close proximity. I know other people aren't so fortunate. However, if our loved ones are overseas, how fortunate are we that we can use FaceTime? We can actually see them when we're talking to them. So different to years and years ago when it was only letters and you had to wait by the letterbox.
5-6 weeks for it to arrive. I think what you need to do is you include, so we're energy workers, so we really trust the concept of energy and transference and things like that. So as you've got their energy in your sphere of influence and you're talking about them and you're sharing about them and things like that, it's still connecting them. They're still part of your everyday life. So it's another way, if you are separated by distance, make sure that it's a conversation you have. And the same with your departed ones. Include them in Christmas. They're all part of the Christmas blessings as well. So they're still around. They're just around in a different way.
That's exactly right. Yes. And that is so comforting too, isn't it, Marnie? To know that our loved ones are there. I was having a chat last night with a friend who said, Christmas will be different without Mum and Dad. And yes, however, I feel I've had magpies. I've been here 23 months. And it's only in the last week that I've had magpies around.
Oh, okay.
And so I know. Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They had magpies at their place. And sometimes, some days I only hear, I cannot necessarily see them, but I can hear them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow. Thank you.
It's like our angel blessings. I haven't found coins on the floor for ages. And the other day I found a 10 cents. I went, oh, thank God, Mum, you haven't been around for yonks. And then there were 2 5-cent pieces as well in close proximity. Right. And I went, oh, thank you. You're saying, okay, it's okay, Mum, I'm still around. So we're dealing with the concept of moving Dad into a nursing home at the moment. And you feel quite weighted by the responsibility, I suppose, is the word, and the choice and the shock of costs and all those kind of things. So it was nice to have found those 3 coins.
Right.
So.
I know that you see that as blessings from your mum. I also see it as abundance. If I find a coin, it's like, oh, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because so many people would have walked over those coins and not seen them. So it's about honouring the small bits as well as the big bits, because, you accumulate the small bits and they turn into big bits.
Yes. Yes, we'd jump on a $50 note, wouldn't we?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I'd like one of those. Yeah. So Christmas is about raising your own joy and happiness barometer, wrapping yourself in bubble wrap, and making sure that you don't let other people's energy pull you down too far, and honour their energy. I think that's the thing to remember, is that's their stuff and their business. Your Christmas is your business. So see what you can do to blend the two so that both parties are happy, because there's no point having someone that's so upset that it spoils Christmas anyhow. So find that happy medium virtually.
Indeed. And also be aware of what's in the diary. And it's okay to suddenly change plans. Sometimes we need to, and it's a case of, well, I'm really sorry. And I always know, Marnie, that if I've had to change something, or if somebody else changes something, it's amazing. Something always crops up and I'll go, oh, that's why that happened. Or I wasn't able to make that appointment. Oh, because da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, absolutely. The universe, and sometimes it's about the concept that the universe knew you needed some downtime too. So you don't always have to feel what you've released. So remember, sometimes it's about releasing it so that you can actually let the whole energy pie even out. Christmas.
I know part of my Christmas is singing, and that involves a lot of work because most of the songs we need to know off the page. And I might know the words of a carol. The thing is, I know the tune, not necessarily the alto harmony. So that's a nice little test. However, I love it. It's such a, as I've said many times, a joyous time of the year, and the singing is a big part of my Christmas.
Singing in groups and of children and things like that, and marching bands and stuff like that, are very much of part of the emotive, or the neuro, what do they call them? The oh my God, just went out of my head. Mirror neurons. So it connects to our mirror neurons, and it often is quite emotionally connected to us when we hear that singing. Right. It makes people cry because they're so overwhelmed and so connected to joy that it makes them cry. And it's not tears of sadness, it's just tears of emotion. So just know the blessings that you gift others with your singing, which you mightn't hear all the time.
I missed that bit.
You might not always hear people say that they get such joy from listening to you sing.
Right.
So, and I'd like to share my Christmas blessings from my dear Annette that I received as well. Look, I'm a star, and I got my first Christmas card, which is a lovely gold Santa Claus, which my niece and my granddaughter was very impressed with the gold Santa Claus. She thought he was marvellous. So thank you for my blessings as well.
My pleasure. Yes. It is wonderful to connect with people at Christmas. I know that, sure, we connect with people who we see all the time, and we also connect with people who, in some cases, that's the one time of communication. And I know people look forward to receiving cards and news from people on an annual basis at Christmas.
I know I've gotten away from the card sending. I used to send hundreds, and then they're always dear such and such, and you'd write a little note on them, but not a big note. So I think I now do a lot more of the phone calling and phone people for Christmas. So, which means you can chat and talk to them and things like that. But yeah, there's so many ways we can reach out.
And the thing is to reach out in a way that suits us. I could never understand why people who I see send me Christmas cards. However, I realise that that's, as we've talked before, that's their way
their
of
tradition.
celebrating Christmas. And they like to know that, they've sent a card everywhere. So instead of being negative about it, which that's such a waste. I can now see, well, that's what they'd like to do, and how lovely. There's another card to put on my shelf.
It is. And also think of the other concept too, that if you were, if part of your tradition or your habits were to send many cards, some people that were getting to the stage that didn't want to send cards felt compelled to return because they received your sort of thing. So if you lighten up, if you decide to not send as many cards, it's almost giving permission for the other people, if they were of a similar mindset and decided not to send it, well, they also can choose not to send any cards. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So it's kind of going, oh, now I don't have to reciprocate because I didn't actually get one, kind of thing.
Well, I think I used to get quite upset at school, especially high school, because if I gave out Christmas cards, people would have cards in their lockers and then they'd write a reply.
Yeah.
But it was
not quite the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so now I gratefully receive cards, and it depends how I respond. Like a lovely lady in the village here gives out Christmas cards, and I thought, oh, well, how would I like to respond to that? And normally it's a nice little something in her letterbox. We lost sound.
No, I'm still here. I just sent you a little message.
Oh, did you? That was very kind. And I'm not sure.
Oh, it's in the chat if you've got it there.
Oh, of course. I forget about that. See, I'm watching through Restream. So thank you for telling me that. Now I can. No, don't want to do that. All righty, let's have a little look here. Oh.
Sorry.
Well, we won't tell the world about that.
No, that's what I was trying not to do. So I shall be briefly away.
You know what, Marnie?
Yeah.
I just think we might say
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas and a wonderful, non-overly emotional time. So one that's filled with joy and happiness for all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And everybody, I'm assuming that Marnie will be back with us next
February.
We return in February.
I know, unbelievable. Yeah. For year number 12, I think.
Something like that, isn't it?
I know, unbelievable. Thank you so much, Annette.
My pleasure. Thank you, Marnie. And everybody, I will continue to have a little chat with you. And just to recap what has been being said this morning, because how fortunate are we to be able to celebrate Christmas, and it doesn't have to, what I like about Christmas is that it can be every day. There's even a song that says something about, Christmas every day. So let's have a think. How can we look after ourselves at Christmas, and how can we bring the joy to those around us? And for those who don't necessarily celebrate Christmas as such, as I've just said, it doesn't have to be a special day. Let's bring those wonderful feelings of love, joy, laughter into every day. Also, remember to honour other feelings as well. And we do have days where we might struggle, where we feel challenged. And it's really important that we honour ourselves by recognising and accepting, acknowledging those feelings. And then it's important that we acknowledge them and, if necessary, sit with them for a while and then let them go, so that we can continue to love ourselves and to feel the joy and to spread the joy. When we spread love and joy, it makes us feel better, and we never know how we're affecting other people. We can make someone's day doing that. I look forward to joining you again next week when Rosemary Butterworth will be joining me. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute delight to be with you, and may you enjoy the coming days up towards the 25th of